Cost of living is rising, and it's a global trend. U.S. consumer prices jumped by 7.5% on year, the biggest spike in 4 decades. The European Commission's president expects the figures to likely remain elevated for longer than previously expected. Eum Ji-young sheds light on the phenomenon and its potential impact on the economy.
High inflation is alarming both at home and abroad. Consumer prices in South Korea have risen more than 3% on year for 4 months in a row. Statistics Korea said its consumer price index was at 104.69 in January, up 3.6% on year. The CPI went above 3% in October for the first time since 2012, far higher than the government's target of 2%. Major items on people's grocery shopping lists have become more expensive. The price of eggs, for example, rose nearly 16% on year. Consumers are having to pay more for their lattes and Americanos as well. Starbucks Korea hiked its drinks prices by up to around 30 US cents last month, and other cafes in the country followed. Price rises are on the menu at burger joints in South Korea. Customers will have to pay up to 25 US cents more for their hamburgers at McDonald's from Thursday. Many other fast food franchises, including Loteria and Burger King, have raised their prices as well, citing the higher cost of ingredients and logistics. It's not just those big franchises, as the rise in food costs is putting pressure on local restaurants to raise their prices. The cost of dining out in South Korea increased by 5.5% last month. The price of ramen increased 7% on year last month, grilled pork belly rose nearly 6%, and kimbap or seaweed rice rolls is up around 8%.
Previously, when my family of 3 dine out, it used to cost about 20,000 won, but these days it costs about 30 to 40,000 won.
And this is not just the case for South Korea. Rising global oil prices have been driving up the inflation. But should Russia invade Ukraine, that could further derail supplies of crude oil and potentially push up prices, which are already at their highest in 7 years. Oil prices have surged far above $90 a barrel in recent weeks amid the increasing risk of a Russian invasion.
Russia is the largest exporter of crude oil and accounts for 12% of the global crude oil production. Therefore, current geopolitical risks are causing the rise in oil prices.
That would cause ripple effects for consumers around the world.
Among the 37 OECD members, South Korea has the highest dependence on crude oil. If oil prices rise, domestic companies' production costs rise relatively more than other countries.
South Korea's high inflation in January was driven by high fuel prices even without the Russia-Ukraine crisis, despite the government's largest ever fuel tax cut of 20%. Experts say the central bank will raise key interest rates to reduce liquidity in the economy.
Currently, the Bank of Korea's key interest rate is at 1.25%, but by the end of the year, I believe it will be raised to 1.75%. Although the key rate is already at the level it was at before the pandemic, additional rate hikes are expected in order to tame the inflation.
Eum Ji-young, Arirang News.